And on 2 Now we begin a new comedy series in which you're invited to sample a bit of Fry and Laurie.
Good morning, Michael.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Smear.
Yes, well, we'll dispense with the good mornings if you don't mind. I haven't got time for good mornings.
As you wish. Now, you wanted to discuss something with me.
I think you know why I'm here.
I don't think I do.
Tell him.
Tell me what?
Tell him what you told your mother last night. Come on. Sexual intercourse
Can often bring about pregnancy in the adult female.
can often bring about pregnancy in the adult female, yes.
Yes?
You heard that, did you?
Yes?
Yes, well, I'd like an explanation if it's not too much trouble.
An explanation of what?
An explanation of how my son came to be using language like that in front of his mother.
Well, I assume it's something that Michael's been learning in his biology classes, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, with Mr. Hent. Glad to see some of it's sinking in.
Well, this is a turn-up and no mistake.
What is?
I didn't imagine you'd be quite so barefaced about it.
About what?
I came here today to make a complaint about my son being exposed to gutter language in the playground. I am frankly staggered to find that this is something he's actually been taught in a classroom. I mean, what is going on here?
Well, we're trying to teach your son.
Are you indeed? Trying to teach him what? How to embarrass his parents? How to smack himself with heroin? What?
Mr. Smear, I can assure you we have no...
Call yourself a school?
Well, I don't actually call myself a school.
Well, be ashamed of yourself, filling a young lad's head with filth like that. Well, let me tell you something about the real world. You're here to provide a service.
Well, that's quite right.
Oh, well, that's quite right. Yes, well, I'm not happy with it. I'm not happy with the service you're providing.
Would you rather that Michael didn't attend biology classes?
Well, certainly I would, if those are the kind of lies I could expect to hear repeated at the dinner table.
They're not lies, Mr. Smear.
Oh, aren't they? Are they? What? Sexual intercourse can bring about pregnancy in the adult female?
Well, that's quite true.
True, my arse. It's nothing more than a disgusting rumour put about by trendy young people in the 60s.
Trendy young people in their 60s?
In the 60s. That's when it all started, people like you.
I can assure you, Mr. Smear, that sexual reproduction has been part of the biology syllabus for many years.
I don't care about your blasted syllabus. What good is a blasted syllabus out there?
Where?
Out there.
The Arkwright Road?
Arkwright Jungle, I call it.
Well, what would you rather we taught your son?
I would rather you taught him values, Mr. Casalingua. Values. Respect, decency, standards. That's what you're here for. You're not here to poison my son with a lot of randy sex talk.
Michael definitely is your son, is he?
Well, certainly is my son.
Well, then it's safe to assume that at some stage you and Mrs. Smear must have had sexual intercourse.
Right, that's it. I had enough of this. I'm going to knock some sense into you myself.
Well, you're going to fight me now, are you?
Yes, I bloody well am. I'm not going to stand for this.
Well, do you mind if I do?
Talking like that in front of the boy, you're a bloody disgrace.
Mr. Smear, how can Michael be your son if you and Mrs. Smear have not had sexual intercourse?
Michael is my son.
Yes?
In the normal way.
And what, in your opinion, is the normal way to have a son?
If you're trying to trick me into sexy talk... Well, the normal way to have a son is to get married, buy a house, get properly settled in, furniture and so on, and just wait for a bit. Make sure you eat properly, 3 hot meals a day.
3 hot meals?
Hot meals, yes.
Right. And Michael just sort of popped up, did he?
Yes, well, of course, it's a few years ago now, but I think, yes, one day he was just there.
And at no stage did you or Mrs. Smear engage in any act of sexual intimacy?
Yes, it's very hard for you to believe, isn't it? It's very hard for you to believe that there's still some of us who can bring a child into this world without recourse to cannabis and government handouts.
I don't know what to say.
No, I bet you don't. It's not every day a consumer stands up to you and makes demands, is it?
Well, not of this nature, certainly.
No, well, welcome to the harsh realities of the marketplace, Mr. Casalingua.
Right, okay, so what do you want me to do?
Well, it's perfectly obvious, isn't it?
Not to me.
Well, I mean, if I go to Littlewoods and say that I'm not happy with a cardigan, for example, well, they'll change it for me, and gladly.
You want me to change your son?
Well, of course I do. Mine is soiled now.
I'm afraid we don't have any spare son.
Typical, isn't it? Well, what have you got of equal value?
Oh, we have got some locusts in the biology lab.
Locusts? Do I have your assurance that these locusts will not embarrass Mrs. Smear at table with foul language?
I think I can go that far.
How many of them are there?
Well, there are 2 at the moment.
What do you mean at the moment?
They're married, you see, and they've bought their own cage and some furniture and have settled down and are having 3 meals a day.
Hot meals?
Warmish.
Thank you. So Mrs. Smear might one day become a grandmother.
It's a distinct possibility.
She'd like that. Well, they've got hotter pavements, I know that.
Well, Sue Laurie used to, before she went mad.
No.
Or am I thinking of bus lanes?
Underneath the bellied skies, where dust and rain find space to fall and lie and change again, without a care or mind at all for art and life and things above. In that there, look, just there, no right, left, up, down, past or future, we have but ourselves to fear.
Hugh, you chose that poem. For God's sake, why?
I chose it for a number of reasons, Stephen.
Chief amongst them being?
Well, can I perhaps turn that question round and say, because it was short?
The poem?
Yes.
And that's important.
Well, yes, it seems to me, with the pace of modern life being what it is, most people just haven't got time to spend on long poems, and therefore this is something that would ideally suit the short-haul commuter or the busy housewife, and leave plenty of time over for other sporting and leisure activities.
Well, that represents quite a boon.
Oh, an enormous boon.
Well, we're always on the lookout for enormous boons. Is it perfectly safe?
Oh, it's absolutely safe, yes. This is a poem you could leave around the house in absolute confidence.
Mm-hmm. Presumably, though, there must be shorter poems than that.
Oh, good heavens, yes.
Good heavens, yes.
Good heavens, yes.
Oh.
There's a poem by Richard Maddox called Institutions, which I can read for you if you like.
Please.
Right. Le.
That is short.
It's very short, yes.
Too short, perhaps?
Possibly.
Nonetheless, it might suit, say, the very busy senior executive who's only got a few moments to snatch between meetings and so on.
Well, that, of course, is the market that Maddox was aiming for.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, round about this time, a lot of people are starting to think about going on summer holidays. Do you have any advice as to the kind of poems that might be suitable, say, for a family about to embark on a budget bargain break weekend fortnight getaway day now?
Well, yeah, can I first of all issue a warning to any family planning to take poetry on holiday with them?
And that warning is?
Be careful.
Well, that sounds like it.
Check with your travel agent to see if there are any specific customs regulations regarding poetry, and if you're travelling outside the EEC, wrap up warm.
Right. Do you have any particular advice on how to carry poetry abroad?
Ah, yes. Now, I would say it's definitely worth investing in a proper travelling poetry bag.
A travelling poetry bag?
A travelling poetry bag, yes. You can get one of these at most big high street travelling poetry bag shops.
Right. Now, I believe you've got one more poem that you're going to read to us before you go away from here.
That's right. This is called The Rest of My Life, and it's by T.P. Mitchell.
The T.P. Mitchell?
No, T.P. Mitchell. This is quite solid, but not without being too heavy. I think it's quite stylish. It's quite reader-friendly.
All right. So that might suit, say, a young couple just about to start out in the catering business in the North Wales area.
Forward and back, said the old man in the dance as he whittled away at his stick. Long gone, without a glance, to the entrance made of brick.
Thank you.
That's all right.